Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Jazz Fix special this evening, and my name is Tony Sanderman, and here is Mark Cecil, our co-host.
Hi everyone.
Please, whilst the session goes on, please use the chat log at the bottom of your screens throughout the session to ask our very special guest your own questions. I'd also like to draw your attention to the address I will put in the chat log in a few moments, which is where you can voluntarily donate to support this and the upcoming events presented by Nigel. Okay, Nigel Price has been at the forefront of British jazz for a number of years now, and in that time has accumulated thousands of road miles, not just on British roads, but on the roads of most of the European countries. He's regarded amongst many of his fans, including me, as our premier jazz guitar player here in the UK. But he's here tonight to tell us about some of the hard work that doesn't involve the frets of the guitar, and that has made all this possible for him and help us discover how we can do this for ourselves. Please welcome a very special Jazz Fix welcome to Nigel Price. Evening, Nigel.
Cool. Well, that's freaked me out. I did. You've done loads of preparation. I've done absolutely none. That was brilliant.
You sound really good now, so it better be something.
That was really organised. Okay. Thanks for coming, everyone, and I hope everyone gets something good out of this. To me, it's just really kind of common sense. Not common sense, but I'm very kind of instinctive when it kind of comes to these things, and I don't know, somehow have a sort of pragmatic way of sort of looking at things. So I'm going to try not to talk in a patronising way and all that sort of thing, and I'm just. But maybe it's just worth just, thinking about a couple of elements of this. So touring, what are we talking about when we're talking about touring? I mean, it's. I think maybe we ought to decide what we're actually talking about first. I mean, are we talking about getting in the back of a transit van and going off for 3 months? I don't think we are. And by the same token, we're not talking about doing sort of 3 gigs and that's it. You know what I mean? It's kind of somewhere in between, because there just isn't enough of a kind of scene. I mean, just geographically, really, it's not like America, so there's just sort of not enough venues to do that. So we're talking about getting a string of dates together, and why would we do that? I mean, and I know that seems like a really stupid question, but I think it's worth thinking about, because if you are, like, for instance, living in London, shall we say, and you couldn't face touring or didn't kind of fancy it, then I just think it's worth considering what could happen. Potentially, there's loads and loads of gigs in London, but ultimately you're just going to keep going around the same kind of gigs, and that circle is just going to end up getting potentially smaller, really, as other younger and better looking musicians sort of come up behind you. So I think it's fair to say that it's a really important thing to do. Not only because it means that you can work kind of a lot more. I know this again, this sounds really simple. So for instance, when those sort of proper gigs, like club gigs, are done in London, like when you've just played wherever you've played Pizza Express or whatever, they're not going to have you back that year, probably, or maybe not even the next year. You might even be looking at 2 years down the road. So what the hell are you going to do in between? So in that way, I treat London no differently to anywhere else in the UK. I don't bang on the door of any club more so than I would a club in Leeds or Wakefield or St Ives or anywhere like that. And I think that's a very real thing. And you have to accept that into your life. You have to say, I mean, what's the point in perpetual disappointment or even upsetting a kind of promoter by banging on their door all the time, whereas if you just turn up there every couple of years, it feels like something special, or once a year or whatever. So it's a case of getting to know the UK. I mean, that's what I'm talking about here. The world is the world, but let's just talk about the UK because that's kind of really what I know about. So I guess people could imagine that there's this scene, there's this kind of circuit, the jazz circuit, and it's always been there, and it's always going to be there. And I really don't think that's quite the case. There's a lot of clubs who have been there for a long time, and hopefully will stay there for a long time. But it's a permanently changing thing. It's always changing. Clubs are always disappearing, and clubs are always popping up. So possibly, maybe the first actual piece of information that I will offer is this idea that someone has like a library of information, and they're holding on to it, and they don't want to give it away, and you're prepared to pay them for it, or whether it's this golden egg. It doesn't really exist. I mean, I could easily impart the information that I have, and I have done. People ask me, and I quite often do just sort of give it away, on the proviso that you don't say where you got it from, because the last thing I want is some spotty young guitarist or something saying Nigel Price gave me your number, and upsetting a promoter and spoiling my chances further down the road. But anyway, the point is that I don't think it's the right thing to do, to get information off other people, because you're only getting a tiny little part of the information there. You're getting the name of the club, and obviously where it is, and you're getting the promoter's name, and you're getting the promoter's email or phone number or whatever. So, but what are you going to do on top of that? You don't know what day of the week it runs on. You don't know what sort of music is there, or anything. I mean, it's if you had all this information, what the hell would you do? We'll just call them up and say, hello, can I have a gig, please? I mean, that's literally it. I mean, you've got nothing else to say, really. I'm a great jazz player, and I'd like a gig. And it's you're not ready to even get in touch, even if you've got all that information. So it's I guess you could say it would just be nice to know that those clubs are there. And years ago, not that many years ago actually, but there used to be an organization called Jazz Services, which was funded by the Arts Council. It was what they call a conduit organization. So they would fund jazz services, and then they would you could apply to them for up to £2,500 of funding, which I happily and very gratefully used 3 or 4 times, and it would allow you to do like a dozen dates, or I think the most I managed to squeeze out of it was 24, but I don't think we got paid very well on that one. But so now they used to have a service or a library of information, and there were hundreds and hundreds of venues, hundreds of them. And I just thought, man, this is going to be so easy. My life in jazz is going to be easy, because there's literally hundreds of these venues with all the phone numbers and all that. And so you go through, and then I realized very, very quickly that that's no way to go forward, because you're calling up these places and they've folded. Or I remember quite specifically, I called one up and it was a fish and chip shop. So and yeah, so I just realized it was kind of fairly pointless. But things have changed now, and we've got the internet, which is massive. I mean, it's a huge revolution in organizing tours. You could say, well, okay, thinking about it logically, if there's a venue that's worth doing in the area that you want to go, then all you have to do is search for it. Because if it's a venue that's how do I say this without coming across as rude, but sort of taking care of business, then they're going to advertise themselves, and so it should be easy to find. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? So anyway, I won't labor the point. I wouldn't bother trying to get the information off anyone else. And we can deal with this stuff. I'm not just going to sit here and be a talking head. Let's actually do that. So, okay, I mean, there are certain places that you can go to find out this kind of information, and advertising. So who advertises? I mean, this is completely obvious to me. I mean, what's the biggest magazine in the UK. It's Jazzwise, isn't it? So I'm just going to do a bit of screen sharing, and I'll just kind of just talk through this. So if I'm just checking that I'm going to share the thing here. Right. Okay. Are we happy? We can see all this, right? Right. Let's have a look at my right. So there are a number of different things you can do. Quite often, if someone's got a tour together, they're going to get a poster together, you know. So, and you can literally have a look through Jazzwise magazine. For some reason, I couldn't subscribe earlier on, although I am a subscriber. So I've had to just send some stuff through. So you just look at, you know, you go through the thing. Okay. So I've only put this one in for a laugh, but there's a band touring. Okay. They're called Snarky Puppy. Okay. Oh, yes. They've sold out the Bristol O2 Academy. Right. That's not for me. So what you have to do is find a band you have to be honest with yourself. You know, you have to say, okay, let's find a band that's at my sort of level, or is going to be playing in similar venues to me, or I would like to play in kind of similar venues to them. So massive apologies here. Oh no, hang on a second, this isn't the one. Page 13, page 17. So look at this. There you go. That's Asaf Circus. Okay, let's just have a quick look here. Let's have a look at his tour poster. Can we zoom in here? It's me asking. I'm in charge. All right. I've never heard of that one before. The Sheldonian Theatre in Oxford. Okay. Timoth Jazz and Blues Festival. It's a festival. 1,000 Trades, Birmingham. You know, you just take all these things down. Hotel Hatfield, Lowestoft. Okay. Kenilworth. So, I mean, you can literally take all these things down and go, okay, these are functioning venues, and I know that they're functioning venues because someone's on the tour. You know what I mean? They're actually using them and they're advertising them. So, I mean, you can literally kind of go through something like that. Or if you don't feel like you want to steal anyone's stuff, you know, just look in the listings. You know, here we go. There's like a list of where everyone's playing here. You know, where's everyone playing? Blimey, Gilad Hexelman was at the Vortex. Well, that was a good night. This is from 2019, by the way. Sarah Dowling was at 606. Okay, so we know about London. You know, we know about all this stuff, and we can see this sort of stuff happening. We're talking modern jazz here, so you know, we're just looking at venues outside of London. So I've come up here. Here's one down in Plymouth. The moment you see Eagle, so you know it's probably trad jazz. So that's probably not for us. In fact, I mean, I could be wrong, but I very much doubt if that's modern jazz. Okay, so Peggy's Skylight, Nottingham. Great, it's absolutely perfect. I mean, that's if you've got a gig up in the north or Scotland or whatever, you're going to need something sort of halfway through. So why don't we check it out? Why don't we literally just Google the damn thing? Let's have a look. So Peggy's Skylight. Oh, I've been there before. So here we go. First thing, just check out the listings. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. This is happening right now. This place is open. It's open for business. And look at this. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, this place is worth a call. And look, who have we got? We've got is that Dom and the Icos. Yeah. Tom Ollendorf, fantastic guitarist. So yeah, we're definitely going to give this guy a call. We'll get in touch with them. So it's literally a case of there, email, boom, just pick it up, stick it into your. In fact, there's even a phone number. So I mean, this is an absolutely fantastic website, and this is absolutely a place to go. And in fact, that's Paul, isn't it? That's the guy who runs the place. I fully admit to knowing everything about this place because I've actually played there before, and it's one of the best venues that we've got. Stick it on the list, okay? So there's that's one on the list. Okay, should we just have a look at one more while we're there? Let's just go. I did see one earlier on, so rather than mess you about, because I can't see it at the moment, it was this one. There was one in Coventry, and again, I thought that would be absolutely perfect. It was a place called the Albany. I've never been there, and I hope they don't mind me talking about it. So it's been advertised in Jazzwise, so you know that there's some jazz on. Right, what's on? Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Oh, hang on, what's this? Jazz Coventry. Boom. There we go. You've got a contact number and you've got a contact email. What was the point in asking someone else for that? You know what I mean? And you've also got www.jazzcov.co.uk. Let's do it. Okay, and we're in. Same guy. So this is definitely, you've got his email. Right. Okay, I won't bang on about that then. These venues are basically easy to find. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You could do that all over the country. You know, if you've got somewhere that you want to go, just Google the damn thing, and get in touch with them. Okay. Was that really simple? I mean, am I being am I being patronizing? I mean, that's just a very pragmatic way that I would deal with it. You just literally just go straight for it. So it's kind of time to get in touch with someone, isn't it? So now before you get in touch with someone, it's I should just say that it's really easy to feel a bit embattled by this whole situation. You know, I think we've all, well, maybe we've all been there. We've sent out dozens of emails and texts, and we've phoned, and no one's given us a thing, and we're feeling pretty down about it, and it can make you kind of angry sometimes. But you can never blow your top. Never lose your temper, basically. And bear in mind that every new promoter that you get in touch with has never heard from you before, so they're not aware that you've just sent out 3,000 gig requests and that you didn't get anything. So it's not their fault. But it is easy to get a bit of a bad head on your shoulders, and to that end, if you don't feel like it at that moment, sometimes it's best just to leave it until you feel a little bit more optimistic. Like, sometimes this stuff can come out in your emails. You can really kind of vibe yourself up, get really sort of positive head on. So there's a few questions to ask, really ask yourself before you start applying, like sending emails out. And that is, when are you going to do this? And you've got to decide on a kind of time frame. I think to send a kind of ambiguous, unspecified request is more likely to fail. That's the way I feel about it. It's like, hi, my name's Nigel Price, and I'd like to play at your club. And that's it. It's it doesn't sound like you're really kind of focused and kind of serious about the thing. Whereas if you kind of send an email up there and you say, you go up, this, I can't remember what night of the week that Albany thing was up, but let's say it's a Thursday night, and it's the the second and fourth Thursdays. You can actually address that. You can steam straight in and go, oh, hi, I see that you run on the second and third Thursdays of the month. Well, we're looking at going in the touring periods from February to April or whatever. We've got these dates clear, and actually say what the night is and what the date is, and that you'd like to come then, absolutely then. And I think it makes you sort of seem like you're actually really getting it together properly, and the other thing is that you'll soon find, when you start doing this, and I know it seems a bit gutting, but some of these some of these venues book a long time in advance, like a really long time. There's some maybe 18 months in advance, which sounds absolute madness. I mean, we're talking about we're nearly 2023, aren't we? So it's but it does happen. And by the same token, some venues will also book 3 months in advance, and they just won't bother opening the diary beforehand. And it's not that they don't want to, it's just a lot of these venues are also in trouble, like seriously in trouble. Some of them are like 1 or 2 bad gigs away from closing forever, and that's the way it is. So they're not going to commit to anything necessarily, just because they just don't know if they're going to be running or whatever. So that kind of leads us on to the next thing, I suppose, which is these people are embattled as well. So it's always worth bearing in mind that you're just having a conversation with a really nice person who's on your side. Actually, we all have a shared goal, and that's to be involved with this music that we all love. So you've just got to be very careful about that. That said, some people can be very rude, like really rude, and I've had people be very rude to me before. And there's one club in particular, and I just wouldn't stand for it, and I lost my temper with them. And so what's happened there? I mean, that was a few years ago, and I will never play there. I will never ever play at that club. And I think, why on earth did I lose my temper? It's such an unprofessional thing to do, and it just shuts the door, and it's just so pointless. So just don't do it. No matter what happens, no matter what they say to you, just you can't lose your temper. So right, there was one thing that I didn't mention, like when we looked at that sort of poster of it was Asaf Circus actually, but that is like a statement to the world. It's like, I'm here, I've sorted out this. I'm an entity. Like, my band is an entity, and we're going out and we're playing, and we are, we're here. We're part of the jazz world, and I think it's a huge statement. So to that end, maybe it's worth thinking about, if someone offers you a gig, they already want you there, so maybe you could get them to nudge it within that little sort of time frame, because it's kind of all about getting that poster up, you know what I mean, and actually making that thing look like an actual tour. Even though sometimes I see them and they're not the biggest tours in the world, or they're mostly in London or whatever, with a couple outside London, but it doesn't matter, because people still see that you're a thing. You're actually happening. I'm going out of focus here. I found it. Yeah, that's it. And so I mean, you could end up with something like this. I mean, for those of you who don't know what I've done in the past, maybe this is a good time. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. I'm just saying this is what you might end up with if you're an absolute lunatic. Now, do you know what? I'm not going to do this yet. What I'm going to say is that Jazz Services folded, and it was because the Arts Council said that they would no longer fund conduit organisations, and it was an absolute disaster for the jazz world, because let's face it, none of us like filling in forms, but they were relatively easy. Like the Jazz Services forms were actually quite easy compared to the Arts Council forms, and there were still some people who couldn't face filling in the Jazz Services forms, which I found quite bewildering. But some people are just sort of formophobes. Is that a word? Well, it is now, formophobes. So once that disappeared, that was it. All the funding was cut, and so I decided to go straight to the horse's mouth, straight to the source, not the horse in the end, like the source, and actually go straight to the Arts Council, and found out that the form is absolutely horrendous. I mean, it's just horrendous, and it's I still had a crack at it, and I failed failed and failed again. And I remember playing a gig at the Crypt in Camberwell, and all those guys are into filling in forms. You know, they kind of they're well acquainted with the whole process. So I turned up for the gig, and they were like, "Oh yeah, how's it going?" I said, "Oh man, I didn't get the Arts Council grant, and I failed again." And they said, "Oh no, man, I'm really sorry to hear that." I said, "Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I spent all day on it," and they all just fell about laughing because they. And it was at that moment that I realised how serious it was. You can't expect to do this stuff in a day. I mean, it's a week's work just filling in the form, just alone. I mean, that's after you've organised the gigs and everything else. It will take you a week to fill in that form properly. It's absolutely horrendous, unless you like that sort of thing, in which case it's lovely. But I kind of figured that if I was going to be doing that, then I'm not going to be doing it for a 10-day tour. You know, there's no way I'm going to put myself through that. I may as well go and get a job on a building site for 10 days to pay for the tour. So I thought, okay, I'm really going to go for it. So when 2000, I think it was 2014 came along, or 2016, maybe 2014, I really went for it. And I thought, well, okay, in for a penny, in for a pound. And this is what I did. I'm going to share the screen again. Desktop to share. Where are we? Okay, tour poster. This was the first really big one. We all see that? I hope we can all see that. Yeah, that was a beast. 40-date tour, and that was kind of accompanied by a sort of massive kind of social media shout out. You know, I should have got the post up. It was like, I shot for the moon and I got it. You know, we can all do this, and it was a real kind of call to arms. And there was one more as well. Hang on. This is the 2016 one. This was the most ridiculous one. Oops, no, that's the wrong thing. 16. Here we go. This is the one. I hope we can all see this. That's a 56-date tour of the UK. Unbelievable. I remember Matt Home, the drummer, saying to me in December. In December, we were driving back from wherever it was. Must have been Portsmouth or something. And he went, "We started this tour in summer." You know, it's absolutely enormous. Anyway, so that's how I started getting into the whole kind of massive tour kind of process. Right, I'll just stop sharing. I was wondering why I couldn't see anything. It's because I'm still sharing the screen. Yeah, so that's kind of part of it. So I think we should steam in with talking about the next process, which is basically we've got to get in touch with these promoters. So what the hell are we going to say? Now, I was gonna get a kind of example up of what one should say, and I was looking at the last sort of 10 years of gig requests from me, and I kind of realised that I haven't had to do a kind of unsolicited email for quite a long time, because I've been around them a few times, but I did actually manage to find one, but perhaps I'll just show you that a little bit later. But first up, I'd like to thank the people who have been courageous enough to volunteer their emails. Basically, it's kind of email templates that they would send into a promoter. So I'm going to go through these in order. So, I mean, basically, first off, I should say, I'm not necessarily right on this. You know, this is just kind of my kind of humble opinion. And I think my opinion maybe counts for something, because I haven't just been a musician, but I also run, although it's actually kind of just folding, but at a Shepperton Jazz Club. And I also ran Swanage Jazz Festival, which was had 60 bands, 10 venues. So I ran that in 2018. So I'm no stranger to being on the other side of it. So don't hate me for this. Is Alex Weston King here?
Hello.
Oh, great, excellent, good, brilliant. I'm not going to be horrible. I'm going to be honest.
Do your worst.
I've been really looking forward to this so much. But look, no matter what happens, please, it's. I'm just being devil's advocate, okay? All right, good. We're good. So you're happy for me to share this, yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Brilliant. I'm loving this already. Okay. Okay. So here we are. Let's have a look at Alex Weston King. Okay, here we are. Is everyone struggling to read this? Or I'll tell you what, I could do the old. How's this? Is that a bit better or is that worse? I could read it out if you like. Hi, X. I hope you're well. I'm releasing my debut album Sideslip on Ubuntu Records in June with a view of touring in the whatever area 2022. I'd love to discuss bringing my band. There's the members, and I wondered if you had any availability in February 2022. Over the past 5 years, I've established myself as one of the most swinging musicians on the London jazz scene. Are you laughing? This is good. It's fine.
Do you think that was the bit I was worried about?
No. Look, I'll tell you when we get to the bad bit. Alex Garnett, Ronnie Scott's All Stars, and have regularly played to sold-out audiences at jazz clubs such as Ronnie Scott's Pizza Express, Soho. 2018 Jazzwise magazine listed me as one to watch. My album will have extensive national PR coverage, and we're also planning local press coverage to ensure the success of the tour. In the meantime, links to my press, promo videos, and biography are below. I look forward to hearing from you soon, Alex Weston King. Great. Okay. I'm not sure whether to mention this first or last, really, but okay. Now, the thing about promoters is that I'm just going to stop sharing this for a second, just so I can get a look at you. But most promoters know who they want already, and they don't actually need to be told who they want. And some don't even want to be contacted. And I know that when I was running Swanage Jazz Festival, I knew exactly who I wanted. Every single one of those 60 bands was a done deal, and I had maybe 200 sort of requests coming in, but I knew exactly who I wanted. And I did move a couple of people in who had emailed me, but that's just something that you've got to recognize, that even if you're brilliant, you might not be what they want, and that's just the way it is. So anyway, I just thought I'd just say that. Okay. We'll stop. Right. Alex, okay, I might as well say this straight away. It doesn't say anywhere what you play.
There's a good point.
Oh, it's and I know this sounds a little bit shallow, but when a promoter's booking something, they'll think, okay, right, I've got a saxophonist in February, I've got a trombonist in June, I've got a singer in May, and they literally might be thinking that, what does this guy play?
That's kind of insane. I can't believe I didn't put that in. That's incredible.
Well, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, this is just kind of you've just got to look at it from a kind of promoter's point of view. I mean, I realize actually now I've expanded this, that I think you've got a saxophone in this picture, but that's fine. I just thought I'd point that out. I thought that'd make you laugh.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just going to go through this just with a more of a sort of fine tooth comb. Now, I'll give you a bit of license here because it says to your venue, and I'm presuming that you would actually put the name of their venue in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I believe you. Well, I mean, that's
let's put it that way.
I mean, it's actually quite a respectful thing to do, you know. I think to actually name them. Oh, and to that end, it is actually really good to find out someone's name. I think. I mean, I'm not necessarily right, but you know, if someone doesn't want their name to be known and you somehow find it out, that might annoy them. So I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that. You know, maybe a dear sir or madam is just as polite. Maybe. I like the fact that this is upbeat and this is short, because it's people don't like to have too much of their time taken up, and I know that's the kind of job that they kind of find themselves in. That you know they have to read these emails, but if they get too long, then it can be quite annoying, you know. So this is really lovely and short and upbeat and all that sort of thing. So I'm thinking, right, okay, brilliant. I like the sound of this. This is so I'm going to have a look at the link. So let's have a look at this. Okay, this sounds great. This looks great. It's really well filmed. Brilliant. Okay, so not knowing what you play yet as a promoter, I mean, I could have done the Sherlock Holmes thing. Of course, he said that's James on the trumpets, right? So it's not him. Fine. Okay, so James is taking the first solo. Sounds brilliant. Okay, so there's a kind of unwritten law. This is going off the subject a little bit, not quite, but if it's your album, the very first solo on the album needs to be you. Really, that's kind of an unwritten law. It doesn't have to be. So James is taking the first solo. That's absolutely fine. It's brilliant. So of course you'll be coming in next, right?
It's a long solo.
It is a long solo. And hang on, how far are we? That sounds great, man. But we're 4 minutes 20 into the video. And this is the first time. This is the first moment that we're hearing you play the saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, it looks great and it sounds great, but I just think that perhaps you should be a bit more, you know, present a bit quicker. But that's okay. Let's go to the next one. It's the same. No, it's cool. It's like, no, you're here. I love the music, man, but
yeah,
your solo is over here.
Yeah,
it's like 4 minutes into a 5-minute film. So anyway, I hope you don't mind me sort of tearing into a bit like that. But
no,
I mean, maybe it kind of feels like you've got more film than this. Maybe of the same session, or maybe not. I don't know. But I mean.
I might be able to scrape some. I think probably the easiest way to fix the problem you've just raised is for me to make some sort of like compilation video or something, right?
Exactly. You've taken the words right out my mouth. So yeah, you can make this thing really short, because it's not just the music that they're listening to. It's they're looking at you, and they're getting your vibe, they're hearing your sound and all that sort of thing, and all of those things can be picked up really, really quickly. It's I fully admit, as a when I've had my promoter's hat on in the past, to being frankly quite brutal and quite quick. I mean, we've all been there as musicians, right? Like if you're on Spotify or whatever, and a track comes on, how long do you give it before you decide you don't like it? It can be like 15 seconds or whatever. So I just think you have to kind of top load this stuff.
Sure.
It's right. I'm gonna just have a quick whiz back over to the email. May as well share this one here. All right. I'm not used to being a kind of Zoom, whatchamacallit. I'm used to being one of the people who's looking bored looking at it. Okay. What's SIOS?
This email is actually so old that I'm not with SIOS anymore. But
Okay.
that's the brand of mouthpiece I was.
Oh, okay. Because I was trying to figure it out. I was like, is it a Scottish young offenders or something like that? I don't know. No, it was just interesting. I was just interested. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. But now I've got something else written down here, but yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of really sort of covered the most important things, though, right?
Yeah, that's super helpful. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no, brilliant. All right, okay. I'll stop the screen share, and let's move on to the next one. Thanks so much, Alex. By the way, it's just so courageous. I'm not sure if I could have done that myself. I'd just be too embarrassed. Is Samuel Moore here?
Hello, Nigel.
Hello, Samuel. You all right?
I'm very well, my friend. What about yourself?
Yes, I'm sitting in a very tidy studio now.
I'm glad to hear it.
It was a little bit of a mess early on. Samuel is an absolutely fabulous flamenco guitar player, and he likes things just so. He wouldn't like it in my studio. Anyway, I'm going to share the screen here, and let's have a quick look at yours, Samuel. Don't worry, I'm not going to be too brutal. The writing's like in granddad size now. Hang on. Right, Samuel. Okay. I mean, this is just so lovely. Dear so-and-so, I hope you're well, having a good day. How sweet. I'm interested in performing at whatever venue during my forthcoming 2021 UK solo flamenco tour. I'm on the road with my new solo concert program, Flamenco Landscapes, a unique musical journey to the heart of flamenco. I currently have dates booked in my diary. Might you be interested in moving forwards with the booking? So that you can get a better idea as to what I do, please find some useful links below. It's nice, it's short. I find it a little, and I hope, I mean, don't take this badly, but I need a bit more flamenco fire for for the introduction. You know what I mean? It's and it's like, it's quite meek, because if someone is going to move on from this, I mean, bear in mind that I don't know if now's the right time to raise it, but there's like I remember having a conversation with someone about this, about like the buying process. Like when you're buying something off a website, the more clicks someone has to make, the more likely that sale is not going to go through, because every single click is an opportunity to bail out. So you haven't said anything about yourself really, like about your background, your kind of biography. So I'm going to have a look at the biography. I'm looking down, and I'm going. Okay, let's have a look. Who is this guy? So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the short bio. I mean, look at this stuff. This is Ian McMillan for BBC Radio 3. So Samuel was a fantastic flamenco guitarist. Doesn't that belong in like the first sentence on your email? You know what I mean?
I see your point.
I think it does. And it's coming down here, and it's like, where the hell did he learn to play this? He later became a student of the world-renowned flamenco guitarist Juan Martin. What? Really? You know what? You know, how come I'm having to click to find that out? You know what I mean? I think that kind of stuff should be right up there. And also, I mean, the first thing that's really grabbed me here, I mean, look at these photos. These photos are to die for. I mean, this is incredible. I've never had photos anywhere like this. You know, they look absolutely sensational. And I know I'm kind of cheating a bit because I kind of know you. But your whole vibe is like, you know, you have poise, you have elegance, it's all about the classiness, you know, and it's
You're making me blush, Nigel.
but I'm not getting that classiness from this from this the first bit of the email. I'm just not really getting it. So let's have a look at performance video. In fact, I wasn't seeing this on the iPad. You know, one thing I was going to say, because I originally read this on the iPad. This is nice, but why not get a photo of yourself in there? You know, one of those amazing photos could be sitting within the body of that email, and it's like, you know, I mean, this is obviously a little bit removed from jazz. You know, we don't get people who look this good in jazz. it just doesn't tend to be a thing, you know. So, but you know, this is, you could make this look classy as hell. And I should just mention this, although you can't see this on here, when this arrived on the iPad, I was reading it in like an unformatted way. I don't know. I mean, but you can see where you've copied and pasted everything.
Oh, so can you?
You can.
Oh, damn.
And it's like you've got like 7 different fonts, and it's like you know, I'm on the road with my new solo concert program, Flamenco Landscapes, and then suddenly it's massive writing goes, "A unique musical journey to the heart of flamenco," and it's you know, I just, perhaps you have to be careful with that. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not massively into word processing, but maybe it's a case of getting it into a document, making sure it's all, you know, sorted out in the document, then copying it across to it.
Yeah, I thought it had already done that, so yeah, I apologize for that.
No. Hey, I'm not here to be apologized to at all. I'm you know, I would have been gutted if everyone sent these emails through and they were all absolutely perfect. I think I'd have just cancelled the meeting, you know. But, yeah, I think this is what I meant to put to say to Alex as well. You should put your email further down in the email as well, and maybe a phone number. I think that would be good. Not everybody communicates via email these days. They just although it seems insane to actually get a phone call. I mean, I get them quite a lot. You know, suddenly it's you know, so and so from some art centre. Hello, dear boy, it's great to speak to you. I've got your email. It looks absolutely fantastic. I would love to book you. And it's like, and if I hadn't put my phone number on, then he wouldn't have been able to call me up. You know what I mean? Because that's how some people like to work. Oh, shall I stop sharing this? Because you're just listening to some voice, which is probably better actually. But some people, and I don't mean this to sound patronizing at all, but they really want to be the point of contact with the artist. It means the world to them, actually. You know, I mean, some people they haven't just found themselves as promoters. They want to be promoters, and they want to be near the artist. you know, the star. You know, that is patronizing, isn't it? But they do, you know. It's like, darling, I've got Samuel Moore on the phone. You know, hold my course, and that really is, you know, kind of what can happen. So yeah, I just think have a lot more confidence and like really top load your stuff, you know, because I mean, this kind of goes for everyone really, but you have to remember that you are in direct competition with all of the other emails that are coming in, and you know, I mean, there could be a lesser musician who's got all the complete package of everything, you know, who's really got it going on. So yeah, but aside from that, brilliant. I don't think that was too brutal, was it?
No, that was good. That was really helpful. Thank you.
Good. It's an absolute pleasure.
And were all the other links okay for you as well that I popped in?
Yes, I absolutely brilliant. I think your website is fantastic, and it's got your character in it. You know, it's whoever you've got to do. You didn't do it yourself, did you?
No, I hire people who know things for that.
Yeah, no, good. And I mean, I think that's a very wise thing to do, because I've always been a bit of a skinflint when it came to that, and I actually taught myself how to build websites in that. Remember that Dreamweaver thing? And I'd spend hours. I remember being in tears because I was trying to. It took me 3 days to figure out how to put a box in the top round. I don't want to do it, and now I can't face it. Just hire someone who knows what they're doing to do the right thing, because I mean, this isn't for you. This isn't for you. This is just in general. Sometimes you just got to pay people to do the right thing. Anyway, okay. Should we whiz through? I've got 2 more of these. So should we whiz through them before we get to another section, or
Nigel, do you want to whiz through them and then maybe grab a break? Would that be good?
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Cool.
All right. Okay. Right. Well, the next one. I'm getting there. I'm getting faster with this. Okay, let's have a look at the next one up. This is Ryan McCaffrey. I don't think Ryan's here. I think he was busy. Is he here? Oh dear, such a shame, because I'm going to tear into him. So okay. Right, now we're kind of getting the hang of this. Let's just whiz through. Okay, so dear sir or madam, I'm interested. I mean, it's not me, is it? I'm interested whether you would be interested. Okay. No, I'm down with that. That's fine. I'm interested whether you would be interested in putting on my band at, you know, wherever. This feels really wrong tearing to Ryan when he's not here. We've played at Oliver's Jazz Bar in Greenwich, the Empire Bar in Hackney, Strawberry Fair in Cambridge, and Cambridge Jazz Festival so far. I think, I mean, there's nothing wrong with these venues. These are fantastic venues, but it kind of sounds like you've done 4 gigs. You know what I mean? We're hoping for a 5th. So you know, I think this could be played. This could be said in a better way. You know, you could say we are part of the, you know, exciting jazz scene in London. And we've all, and then you can move on to went down a storm in Cambridge Jazz Festival. You know, that this just seems like you're not really making as much of that information as you possibly could. And the next sentence: we are currently looking for a venue to release our forthcoming debut album. Now, those of you who joined the meeting early would have heard me and Tony talking about album releases and hiring a venue for an album release. I mean, to me, that looks like that's what he's asking. We're looking for a venue to release our forthcoming debut album. What, you mean like with vol-au-vents and stuff? I mean, it's I find that just a little bit confusing. You know, it's I think I know what it means. I mean, it basically means we're releasing an album and we want to promote the album with the tour, but that's not actually kind of what it says. And it's just slightly confusing, you know. I've included the biography, photo, and links to the music. Great. Okay. Sorry, rustling the paper. Our current lineup consists of 8 members. As a promoter, the warning, the emergency alarm has just gone off in my mind. 8 of them, you know, that's going to be an expensive night. But I'm not here to judge that, because people do tour with larger bands. But okay, fine. There's going to be a phone number going in there. I sincerely, yeah, many thanks. Brilliant. Okay. So we've got this bio here. Oh, good Lord, here's a photo of the 8-piece band. There's 6 of them. But I mean, that's just a thing. I'd love to zoom in on that shirt if I could, but I won't. All right, so let's have a look at the links. We'll go to, personally speaking, I wouldn't want a Facebook link. I have to say, I mean, A, not everybody's on Facebook, and B, it's like, you know, I've wasted enough time on Facebook, on Facebook as it is, without, you know, trying to deal with some business stuff, and then, oh God, I'm on Facebook. But it doesn't feel like a proper website. You know what I mean? Okay, so straight away, what I'm looking for is, I want to see the band. You know, I actually want to see them. Okay, here's one. The first video that came up. Now, I've been around the block a little bit, and that's Roberto Manzin on the saxophone. And suddenly I'm thinking, hang on a second, let me just check my records here. What does Ryan play? I don't know. I literally have no idea what Ryan plays. So yeah, I mean, I could see someone saying something quite animated. Justin, what are you saying? I'm going to unmute you. You were shouting at the screen then. You have to unmute yourself.
No, I wasn't shouting. I was going, I know what he plays.
Okay, fine. Yes. Well, I know what he plays now. He plays saxophone and piano, right? Piano and saxophone. Okay. Fine. I mean, that's you know, I haven't got a problem with multi-instrumentalists. But I didn't know that. Okay, so the website's next. Personally, I think that website should have been first, because it just looks so much more professional. You know, you're not going off to some Facebook site. Okay. So although me and Justin have sorted out that was actually Roberto Manzin, I'm looking at this guy, I'm going, is that the same guy that was playing in that last video? And I'm thinking, I don't know if it is. Maybe this was taken a few years back. And then hang on a second, there's the same video. In fact, we're being assaulted by all sorts of videos here. So it's anyway, listen, I'm not going to kind of bang on about it. It's I'm a little bit confused as to what the kind of deal is there. Okay. Great. Okay. And what I like about that is that there's it's quick. You know, there's not loads and loads of links. I actually quite like the way that's laid out, although it is a little bit of an assault when you first open it up. But no, that's cool. All right. Let's YouTube channel. Now, the only problem I have with this is that you're asking someone to search for something. You know, you've just literally given them your YouTube channel, which automatically is going to be 2 clicks. Remember the rule about the clicks. You know, you give someone a chance to exit because you're asking them to click again and again and again. They're more likely to just kind of bail out. So there's a lot to choose from here. I would much rather. I would much rather. Let me just stop the screen share. I'd much rather someone had made a choice, and said, I really want you to see this video. Here's a link to this video. This is the band that you're going to see. This is what I want you to see, rather than here's 50 videos. Take your pick, kind of thing. So just a bit more focused, I think. That could just be slightly more focused. Yeah, that's more or less what I wrote down earlier on. Don't put Facebook first. If you've got a brilliant website, then why wouldn't you just put your brilliant website up first? In fact, there's probably no need to put your Facebook page up at all. So, it would also be nice to know who's in the band. I think people sort of like to kind of know that. That's kind of a deal breaker for some people, And just finally on that one, there's no phone number and there's no email, which is, obviously you can reply to an email, as we said before, but some people they do like to use the phone. Anyway, okay, I've got one more to do, but should we have a little break first? Let's just go and have a.
It's up to you, Mr. Price.
Well, I mean, how are we all feeling? Are we good to go on, or should we have a break?
Well, it's about halfway, isn't it?
Break?
Yeah, I would say it makes sense to me. And
yeah, okay.
Have a cup of tea or a
all
glass of water.
Well, let's reconvene at like 15:15 or something like that.
Yeah, I think Mark's going to talk. Anyone who's interested in some of the stuff that the Jazz Fix gets up to, and
which includes Nigel Price, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because we've booked you on a jazz course. So please come along.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Yeah. So if anyone wants to grab a cuppa, should we just take 5 minutes and grab a drink if you want to?
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you about a few things that are coming up. So, for those of you that haven't been before, with the Jazz Fix, we do kind of online events and jazz courses, and have done since the beginning of lockdown. So, we've got various guests coming up online. We do an event every Monday evening. Coming up in the next few weeks, we've got Alan Barnes next week. We've got Russell Ferrante on the 14th, Georgina Jackson and Simon Purcell, Barnaby Dickinson, Pat Levitt, and Tim Lapthorne. Lots of things coming up. Just have a look at the website. You'll see all the different events there. We've also got various jazz courses. These may be something you'd want to attend, or they might be something that you have students that would want to attend. So 18th to 22nd of July, we've got the Summer Jazz Fix, which is held in Brentwood. 4-day jazz course. Tutors include Lily Dior, Steve Fishwick, Derek Nash, Nigel Price, Dave Newton, Jeff Gascoigne and Sebastian de Crom. The week after that, we've got our Spikes Jazz Academy, which is for the under-18s. A great list of tutors on that, including Mark Armstrong, I think. Who else have we got? I can't remember now. Jackie Hicks, Paul Higgs as well. So some fantastic tutors on that. And the last one to mention is all the way in October, 24th to the 28th. We've got our online jazz fix. Again, Nigel taught on the last one. So this is an online jazz course, 4 days of jazz online, completely different structure to the face-to-face one. But there's plenty of information on all of that on the website. So just go straight back to the website where you booked for this session. And incidentally, Nigel's next session is now up to book. So if you'd like to come to the next one on the 29th of June, then you can go and book for that whenever you like. So that's it from us. We won't take up too much of your time. Enjoy the break. And Nigel, we'll see you when you're back. He's not back yet. Tony, have you anything to add?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think we're having a holiday next week. We said Alan Barnes is next week. But,
he's the week after.
Yeah, it's just bank holiday next weekend. So we shall be joining Alan Barnes. You did mention we've got 2 great stars coming up. It's always great fun when we've got the international guests coming. We've got Russell Francie and Fusion, Jeff Lorber. So they're coming up, and that's going to be very exciting for all of us. It's just 20 quid a month to join into these events. There's also a Friday night catch up. So there's loads and loads of things going on there. I think that's about it, Mark.
I think so. Yeah, all events are priced individually, or you can do the monthly thing and just come to everything. So that's it for yourself or for any students you think might be interested.
Yeah, and if you remember, you get discount from the courses that we do as well.
Yeah. Anyone else any feedback on what Nigel's talking about at the moment? Feel free to unmute and have a chat while he's having a break. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I've got.
Oh, he's back. We can't talk about him now.
Oh, he's back, so we can't.
Oh,
talk
he's
about him
marvellous. Nigel, what a marvellous guy. Yeah, he's back
I
now.
want to know what made him lose his temper. That's it's that trade secret.
Yeah, who was the club? We'd love to know that. Where you lost your temper.
I know that voice.
It's me, isn't it?
It's me, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't been to the Six for a little while. That's why.
Hello, dear. How are you?
How are you? All right?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this. I'm the only girl. Yay!
Hey.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Am I not?
No.
Oh. Where's the others?
Oh, I can see you now, Esther. I can't see you, but
Hello. It's
Yeah.
Who's that?
Sarah, we got some girls here. Yes, absolutely.
Hello. Oh, Rachel. Hello, yes. I'm a girl. Hello. I'm a girl. The girls. Let's scream.
Jesus.
Sorry.
This is all your fault, Nigel. Just so we're clear.
Well, attracting all the women, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You love it.
it's been a thing, for a few years now.
Nigel, you hadn't got your buds in when I asked. There was a question I've got for
Oh,
you.
sorry, I was actually out. So no, go on.
Yeah. So I have to know because you're the most affable man in jazz.
Go
What
on.
made you lose your temper?
So
Hang on a second. Can we mute Esther? I can't let myself think. So, thanks, Esther. What made me lose my temper?
Yeah. What on earth could drive you to that point?
I think it was just the relentless. It was the years of not having any success with this particular place, and they finally said we're not in. We've had a chat as a committee, and we've decided we're not into organ bands. Are you suggesting there's something different about your organ band? And I just the red mist just came down, and while I was typing, I was thinking, don't send this. Whatever you do, don't send this. And just got to the end and just went, poof, off it goes. And yeah, I wasn't that rude. I was a little bit.
We never fight the committee.
No, and it's well, actually, maybe I wasn't that rude. I just told them that yes, I think there is something different about my organ band. It's like I don't know, just like deciding you don't like trumpet or something, therefore you're never going to have a trumpet, and because all trumpet players are the same, or that's just a silly thing to say. Or all singers are the same, all guitarists are the same. It's just silly. I mean, it's just sort of anyway. Wasn't that bad, it's not like I went round his house.
No.
So.
Right. Well, I think everyone seems to, or at least Steve Duke has got a cup of tea. I can see.
Yes. Well, of course, we were lying. I mean, I've got red wine in this one. It just looks like a cup of tea.
Yeah. It's got 1 o'clock, isn't it?
Sun's over the yard arm. Yes. Okay.
Just before you carry on, Nigel, I'm just going to say it's absolutely brilliant. I've got to sign out and do a couple of other prep things.
Sure.
So I'll sounds great. I'll watch the rest on catch up.
Great. Okay, mate. Well, it's good to see you.
Great, and you.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Okay. I think it looks like we're missing a few. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. I did say 1:15, didn't I? Have you just spilt your wine?
Michael.
Yes.
Hello. Phil here.
All right.
Hello. It's very interesting. You having a look at these emails. I wondered if you'd have a look at mine. I've put a lot of effort into it, but
Sure.
it'd be good.
Oh, what you mean now?
Oh, not now. I can send it to you later.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love this. I love doing it. It's yeah. No, of course. I mean, I'm it's up to you, but I mean, if you were happy to have it scrutinized, then
well, I'm sitting here feeling quite happy because I think I've got some things right. It doesn't mean to
brilliant.
say.
No, that's great. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully, like having the photograph in the beginning and
Yeah.
the show reel, because I've done a show reel, so
Brilliant.
that's try to keep it short, not too long, because all the things you're saying are really hitting home.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I'm totally into it, and in fact, it would be nice if maybe more people did that, because all it means is that there's going to be some better emails going out, so then it's more likely we're going to get the damn gigs,
Yeah, a few points that as you've been saying it, I've been looking at it and thinking, change that. So
Good. Well, that's great. If it's been a bit of help, then great. And I just sort of realised that I'd learned this the hard way. In fact, maybe I should just, because I did find one from 2010, literally just before we came on air. So let me just show you this one. Hopefully, let me know if you can't see this. 2000. Here we go. This was a kind of template here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great.
Ooh.
I mean, it's all very it's ultra confident, I suppose, but I mean, it's kind of top loaded, It's like hi whoever, I wonder if you can help me. My name is Nigel Price, London based jazz guitar player, formerly of the James Taylor Quartet, one of the Ronnie Scott's All Stars. It's like, use whatever you can, you know what I mean? Whatever you've got, just get it up there, top load it, and upbeat. I'm keen to get out and about so jazz fans outside London can hear what we're up to. This has been formatted differently, but whatever. Matt Home with my burning organ trio featuring Pete Whitaker on real Hammond organ and Matt Home on drums, and it's so I mean, straight away it's kind of something that people don't see that often, like an actual Hammond organ out there. So it's like, hopefully within those first 30 words, there's been enough just to look on just a little bit. And I'm very, very specific. I want Sunday night, and it's the 18th of April. And part of the reason that I've said that is because I know that they're running on the 18th of April on that Sunday night. And I did need somewhere, so I'd found it. It's absolutely perfect. It matches up. There's the link. I mean, it's this was 11 years ago, so actually, I perhaps would have been a bit more specific with my links there. But there's that's the old website, phone numbers, and something that I guess I'll talk about in a moment. But here we go. There's the my CD's just been released. Let me know if you need one, because people don't really need a CD these days, but some people want one anyway, so they can flog it on eBay. And a press release, which I just had done by someone. So I was very proud of it. And I attached the whole thing. So suddenly it turns into something that's longer than the damn Bible, which in retrospect, it wasn't actually the greatest thing to do. But you'll be pleased to hear that I didn't get the gig. but that was my kind of template for it. Now there's a couple of things that I kind of get out of that. What was I going to say? Yes, it's about what you need to go into that email. It's about the actual kind of content of what's going in there, and it's not just words. You have to have something to actually put into that email. I've just mentioned that I've got a CD out in that email. I could have made so much more of that. It's an album tour all of a sudden, and then I'm thinking, well, what do they want to hear? And funnily enough, I spoke to Paul Dietz earlier on, who's the guy who runs Peggy's Skylight up in Nottingham, and had a quick kind of chat with him, and I was sort of creating a viewpoint from a promoter, and I thought I'd make a list of a promoter's requirements. So I said, what does a promoter want? Number one, good attendance. I didn't get to number two. I just that was it. That was all that was on the page, and I actually couldn't think of anything else. I mean, aside from the art, obviously, it's got to be good art, but fundamentally, they want to see that people are going to fill that place up. That's what they want. So everything that you can do that's going to get more people into that room on that night is going to help a promoter. So if you're launching an album, then and if it's going to be part of a funded tour, then you can say it's part of a funded tour, and you can also mention as another bit of bait, if you want, that there's going to be a massive advertising budget, which means obviously they're going to be advertised. More people are going to hear about the gig, means more attendance. So all of these things are kind of pointing towards that. And I'm not kidding about the advertising budget as well. We'll get onto the Arts Council thing in like a bit further down the road. But and on that 2016 tour, the one that I showed you earlier on with the 56 days, I had an advertising budget of £9,000.
Wow.
That just went on advertising and nothing else. So and it was kind of worth every penny, I think, because it was just everybody knew about it, and you know, the ripples that kind of go out from that in the future are absolutely enormous, because suddenly you filled up. I mean, they weren't awful, but most of them were. I mean, some of them were absolutely brimming. You know, you've filled up 50 venues around the country with this, you know, amazing advertising. You've had some great gigs, and those people will want you back. And this is part of the reason why I couldn't find an email like the ones that I'm suggesting that some of you write, because I don't have to write unsolicited emails anymore, because I kind of know all these people, and it's like, you know, and we've sold the place out, and we know that we're now like a bankable option. You know, we're a kind of bums on seats lot, you know. So it's and it's taken an awful lot of time to get there. That's taken 20 years to kind of reach that point. But it's anyway, I think it's worth mentioning that that kind of thing to a promoter. I know I sort of went off the track a little bit there, but you know, you've kind of got to look at funding. You know, I mean, they aren't kind of completely separate things. And not only, I mean, just briefly there, not only because if you haven't got funding, then you can't afford to tour. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, it doesn't take much to figure out if you're paying your guys, whatever, your people, your band members, 200 quid each a night, which is as good as it gets in UK jazz, really. I think, unless you're a massive name and you're you know, you're doing the theatres and that sort of thing. On the jazz circuit, if you're managing to pay a couple of hundred quid each every night, then I think you've kind of arrived. So if you what, quartet, that's 800 quid. If you want hotels, we ain't all staying in the same rooms. You know, we've seen enough of each other as it is. So, you know, that's separate rooms. And I mean, what are we saying? 75 quid each, maybe 50, I don't know, whatever. If it was 50, that's 1,000. And then we're on to the fuel. You know, we're on to maybe giving someone a bite to eat, something like that. And very quickly see that each gig is going to cost you £1,200 or whatever, at least £1,000, and the money just isn't there. And I will tell you now that there are maybe 3 gigs in the UK on the jazz touring scene that can pay that money. That's it. Maybe 3, maybe 4, and the rest of them, they haven't got a hope of finding that money. So and it's no slur on them. There just isn't. That money isn't available. You know, if you've got 80 people turning up, you know, paying whatever 10 quid each, you can see straight away, or even 12 quid each. You know, it's what's that, 1,000 quid or something like that. I can't figure it out, but it's roughly that. It's 960 quid. 200 quid for the room. You know, whatever for the whatever sound engineer. I don't know who that is. Would you mind just muting whoever's making the squeaky sounds? I'm quite enjoying them, but I just thought it might be off-putting for non-squeakers. Thank you. So I feel like a school teacher. Who's squeaking? Stop the squeaking. Yeah. So it doesn't take much to work out that that money isn't there. So you do need to find funding. Now, where you find that funding is kind of up to you. I mean, you know, you could sell a guitar or a kidney, or something like that. But let's face it, you know, the place to go to is going to be the Arts Council, and So you have to start thinking about this stuff, depending on how many kind of dates you want to do. You know, I mean, you could just about get away with it, possibly, if it wasn't too big. But once you start heading out for some proper, you know, a proper amount of dates, then you've either got to find funding, or you've got to be prepared to lose a bit of money on it, which would be a dreadful shame. And I have spoken to I've spoken to people who have lost a packet on tours. There was one bass player. I shouldn't do this because I'm kind of going to do an impression of him, but he went on this great tour, and he's really Irish guy, you know. He's quite a dour, kind of Irish guy, and he's, yeah, you know, by the time you spent like the 500 euros on the hotel and all that, so then they paid the wages and all that. So, you know, at the end of the 2-week tour, I ended up with 40 euros. I just went, I just laughed in his face. I couldn't help it. You know, like 2 weeks, 2 weeks work. Ended up with like 30 quid or whatever it was. I was like, oh God, you know, really? Are people actually doing that? So, you know, I mean, I'm not a breadhead at all, but I mean, when I've got kids, well, actually they're kind of grown up now, but back in, you know, 2010, like when I sent that email, you know, they were like, you know, 12, 11, things like that. And there's no way I'm allowed to leave and go on a big tour for 2 weeks and come back with 30 quid. That's just not going to happen. That's not going to go down very well. So anyway, yes, we have to find funding. So okay, I'm waffling a bit there, sorry. We'll kind of get onto that because it is important, because it actually affects where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and that sort of thing. But let's we'll have a look at that next time. Let's go for the last email. This was sent to me via Messenger, actually, so I won't have a go at the formatting. Right, take the grandad writing off for a second. I sent this to myself. Here we go. Okay, Shantipool Jaisina, are you here? No. Okay, that's fine. I'll just turn the big writing on again. Dear so I hope this email finds you well. I hear you finally managed to open the club. What a nightmare this year has been. Not without some benefits, though. I've had time to develop a couple of new projects and really spend more time with my family. It's nice. It's sweet. I don't mind that. I've also helped Claire Foster, my partner, to create and release her latest CD, Kumbaka, and we have managed to get quite a lot of press, radio play and interest, for example. Okay. I'll have a look at the link in a second. I'm just sort of scanning through the whole thing. Talking of new projects, I put together a trio with myself and cello, Juil, I sound like Amanda Holden, Hill on guitar, and Marius Rodriguez on drums. We play Brazilian music, and the idea is inspired from the great Brazilian cellist Jacques Morelenbaum, who played for many years with Tom Gilby. Okay, Facebook page first, and I was hoping there would be a website next, but it's not in Instagram. The latest post on my Instagram was a page of a series of tutorials on playing bossa nova on cello. I'm thinking that's a bit weird, I've got to say. I mean, not weird as in weird, like, you know, what the hell's going on, but I'm a promoter, like, receiving this email, and you know, I've never considered taking up the cello, but yeah, now you say it, I might have a look. Anyway, so there we are. So what's more strange to me is that I don't really know what he's asking for. So we've got Claire Foster at the top, but she's not in the project below. So I mean, you know, I guess you can read between the lines and say it's either or, I guess. But if that's what it is, then just say it. You know what I mean? So I have these two great projects to look into. Okay, so let's look into the first one. So Claire Foster. He doesn't say what she does, but all will be revealed from this link. What is this link? Okay. So one of these is Claire Foster. Okay, fine. Right. I don't know. I mean, okay, that's cool, but I don't know who Claire Foster is. I don't know what she does, and I'm still none the wiser as to what she looks like. I mean, I actually know. I know what she looks like and what she does actually, but I'm just being devil's advocate. Okay, so no, that's fine, but we'll move on. Although we don't really know about her latest CD, about what it is, what style of music it is, who's in the band or anything. There's no link to it. I could pick this up and copy and paste it, you know, do one of these. But again, we're down to the clicks, aren't we? You know, how much are you expecting a kind of promoter to do? If I were a promoter, that first half of the email is over for me, you know. Okay, but that's cool, you know. We'll go on to this, the next link. So okay, fine, you know, Facebook can be an option for a kind of website these days, which saves a bit of money. Seems like a happy chap. Oh, here we go, we got some video. Right. Oh, sorry, that's a bit loud. Okay. It's a lockdown video, which is absolutely fine. That's great. But they're not playing together, obviously. So I want to see them playing something together. Oh, and hang on a second. That's not the drummer. There isn't a drummer there. So it isn't the band that is sort of said it is in the oh, here we go. Right. We've got some video. This looks like it. So let's go for it. Right. Okay. I've got the vibe, man. That's nice. I mean, that is exquisite music. It's absolutely beautiful music. I would say, and well, Paul will probably see this at some point, so don't hate me, Paul, but I would say that maybe this should be presented in a more professional looking way. You know, you've got a camera on a bench stand that's looking into a not spectacularly lit room, and is that a step ladder behind the drummer? I know, I'm just asking, but it just looks a little bit kind of you know, lockdowny or something, or yeah. I'm not wild about that video. Okay. I won't bang on too much about that one, but it's I just think that's a bit of a shame actually, because that music it just sounded beautiful. I'm not here to pass judgment on any music. I mean, it's as a promoter, I would worry that it's a little bit of a big ask for a whole like 2-hour gig with a trio of that size, you know. I mean, I guess I kind of get away with it because there's a Hammond organ and he's playing the bass. I mean, it's a very kind of big sound, you know. But I think it's just worth thinking about those sort of things, you know, the actual success of what act you're putting out there, you know, regardless of how good it is it something that someone's really going to go for, and would it be compromising to get someone else involved? You know, obviously it's going to be more expensive, but it's sorry, I'm shuffling paper around. I'm just finding the one. Yeah, I think that's pretty much covered that. So no one's really kind of, you know, done anything really that massively wrong. I'm just saying it could be presented a little bit better. That's what I'm saying. And so this leads me quite naturally onto this, which is I found things changed actually quite a lot when I did this. Just make sure the sound's on. All right, here we go. You can all see that right now. Yeah. Great. Okay. It looks a bit better, right? You know, it's like I'd be happy for a promoter to see that, and I would still send this out now, were I not another 8 years older. It's clear I'm not that young. Or the other thing you can do is this, which is to actually hire a room, and make sure you get something that looks and sounds great. You know, something that you're really happy to send to a promoter. So we did this, same titles, continuity. Oh. You get the idea. I'm not just going to pick me. I'll just stop the share for a moment just so I can see you all. I had a little chat actually. I hope she doesn't mind this, because I haven't actually asked her permission to speak of her, but I'm only going to say nice things, so it shouldn't matter. But there's a great singer called Sarah Dowling, and we had a chat few years back, and I said, you know, you've got loads of stuff on YouTube on video, but what you really need is not volume, you know, it's not quantity, it's quality. You just got to get something that looks absolutely brilliant, you know, it's something that's just really, really classy, and it gives you sort of making, you know, singing into her iPhone, which was actually a nice project. It was like a standard of the day, and actually I did back away from that a bit, thinking maybe I got that wrong, because it's actually quite amazing what she did, you know, proving how prolific she was at learning songs, and had a massive repertoire. So I kind of ate my words a bit, but she still did listen to me, and she went out and did this, and I've got to say, this is one of the classiest bits of film that I've seen come from a UK jazz act. So just bear with me here. That one. No, that's us. We're going to be there. Check this out.
I've got a crush on someone. Guess who? I've got a crush on you, sweetie pie, all the day and night time. Anyway. Hear me sigh.
Yeah, we're not here to listen to jazz all day, but where's that place? I mean, whose house is that? It's not my house. It's but it just looks brilliant, right? You know, if you were a promoter and you said, hi, I'm a singer, and I'd love to come and play at your club. Here's a bit of video. I'd be like, where do I sign? You know, to just when can you get here? This looks amazing. This sounds amazing. You know, you've got the job. And I just think that's really, really massively important. You know, so it's about stocking up those emails full of content, not just the words, but actually what's in them, you know. And video is king. You know, people don't want to read. You know, people don't want to spend too much time. You know, people just want to be fed quickly, and if it looks and it sounds great, then you know you've got it. Maybe I'll just play you one more of someone who I think has got it absolutely right. And this is a young saxophone player. I've known him since he was really young, actually. There's a guy called Duncan Eagles, and I was just this afternoon. I was thinking, I wonder who's really got this sort of stuff right. So I started looking around a few different, you know, artists who I thought, you know, probably did, and he has. I think this is brilliant. Screenshot. I've moved the thing. Right. Okay. I mean, just the fact that you're assaulted immediately with just this kind of like feature film quality film. Excuse me, Sarah. See if we can find Duncan somewhere. No, that's Roberto Manzin. I mean, you know, I'm not criticizing here, but you know, this is a camera put up at a gig. I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with this, and actually, you know, it is kind of nice to see people out there, you know, right on the kind of front line with it. Where are you, Duncan? You know what? I'm just going to have to look him up here. Let's just go Duncan Eagles. All right, there he is. Oh, blimey, we're in already. What's going on? Oh, this is just the cover. I mean, we're in a whole new kind of zone of professionalism here. Let's get in there.
No sound, unfortunately.
No, there wasn't. That's just the cover shot, I think. Look at this. What? Yeah. Okay. Like I say, we're not here to enjoy ourselves all day. But you can see the difference, right? I mean, if there was going to be, you know, one in competition with another, and you've got one with the video from the Zoom Q8 camera in front of a gig, and you've got the other one that's been professionally made. Okay, it's going to cost you a few quid. You know, it's going to cost you 500, 600, 700, maybe more. You know, if you've got a lot of editing to do. But I think you'll reap the rewards from that very, very quickly, because you'll just get gigs out of it. It's I just really think that's a way forward. In fact, I need to get one done. I should get one done before I get too old.
Yeah, there's a question from Sam Moore.
Yes,
there,
that's good timing.
Actually covered by what you've just been talking about, I think. But maybe so you could bring Sam in to ask that question directly.
Go on,
Sam.
Hey, Nigel.
Hello, you're right.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just wondering, because we saw a range of videos there, and I was just reflecting on my own content. Most of my videos are kind of, if you will, a kind of studio environment.
Yes.
In your experience, is it? Let's assume it's a high quality recording. Is a live concert shoot where a promoter can see there's a great big audience in the background, is that better than a studio?
If the audience is going wild, then yeah, I mean, it would be great to catch some applause, wouldn't it? I meant to play one of your videos earlier on, and I'm sorry I didn't, because it sounds fantastic and then looks fantastic. In fact, I'm not sure why I didn't. Perhaps we will before the night's out. I don't think it makes an awful lot of difference. Really, it's just the fact that it just looks so good, and it just looks like you mean business, and it looks professional. It's like, you know, do these people belong in the, you know, whatever, the Queen's Theatre? Or yes, they do. Yeah, absolutely they do. And it's and I think, you know, the better it looks, then the more likely it's going to happen. You know, it's yeah, that's it really. It's, but yeah, I mean, if there's some roaring footage from a kind of roaring gig, then that's not going to hurt you either, because I mean, you know, the other not quite subliminal, but you know, message that, that comes out is that you're out there playing live and you're commanding that sort of audience. You know, you are like, if this is from whatever, you know, festival somewhere, it means someone booked you there. And it's I don't mean to sound patronizing towards promoters here, but it's like, what can I liken it to? Kind of like the, you know, the whole salmon thing, you know, sort of going up. No, that's not the right analogy. It's like people always want to back a winner, yeah. So or people get paranoid they're doing the wrong thing. Like, everybody's doing this, why aren't you doing this? And it feels like promoters can be a bit like that sometimes when you're like, yeah, you know, I've been booked here, I'm playing at this place, and you're like, they almost can't find a reason not to book you then. And we're kind of getting off the subject slightly a bit here, but I have I won't say that I've lied, but in the past I have been in the sort of negotiation stage with quite a sort of large venue in an area, and I may have gave the impression to another venue that I had actually got the gig there, and then watch that one, you know, say, oh, well, they're playing there. Well, we simply must have them here. And then you get back to the other one and go, oh, well, we're playing down at the oh, really? Okay, well, yeah, no, I think we can do that, and then it fits in well with our night. And before you know it, you've kind of you haven't quite bamboozled them, but it's you know, it's yes. I mean, when I say I was in the negotiation stage, I sent them an email which I hadn't replied to. But, you know, it worked, and it's fine, and it was, I don't know, it's anything to get you an extra inch up the greasy pole, isn't it? You know, so anyway, I guess that was kind of related, because it's you know, it's being seen to be playing something prestigious, you know, playing somewhere prestigious. So that's what I'd say about that. In fact, I mean, this is generally probably quite a good time just to answer a couple of questions if people have got any. That's if I've kind of covered what I wanted to cover. I mean, bearing in mind this first module, is this a module? Oh God, it's just about getting the gig, and I think we've pretty much. If anyone has got anything
I've got
to
a
ask,
question, Nigel.
Sure, go on.
What you were saying, kind of about playing the clubs off against each other. Let's talk. Can I ask you about routing? So you're saying you advise
Excuse
people.
me?
Yes.
Oh no, so routing. What you mean? Which route you're going to choose?
Very specific about dates.
Yes.
You know, for instance, as a piece of advice. But how do you, when you're planning a tour, where do you start the ball rolling? You know, once you've got like the key dates in, you can fill in the other ones around them. But how do you start? Because I think, you know, at a certain point, you're just going to be throwing out emails, just hoping you can get something back, so you can start building a tour around it. Because also, there's always issues with people's availability as well.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's just do this right now. In fact, I'm actually halfway. I'm in the middle of organising a tour. Would you believe?
Sure. Taking the time.
Before I go into this, I should probably say that now is not a great time to be expecting results, particularly this year, because there's a whole backlog of musicians who've been cancelled for the last 15, 16 months.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm finding.
Yeah, and promoters are generally really good about, you know, getting people back in order. So, but it doesn't mean one shouldn't be looking, you know, a bit further down. And if you haven't got your videos and stuff like that together, this is maybe a good chance to do all that anyway. Well, you can do what you want. I don't know. But anyway, let's just do this right now, because I've got to do this tomorrow anyway. So I've got a gig in Leeds. It's on a Thursday, and I want to come home, but not immediately, because, you know, I can do Leeds. That's fine. I can do Leeds. Now I'm hoping. No, that's the wrong one. Right. Okay. Right. All right. Well, let's. Hang on. I'm going to do a maps thing. So we'll open up the map. I'm going to go share screen. Maps. Share. Okay. Leeds. Not Leeds Castle, for Christ's sake, this one. All right. Okay. And I'm thinking, you know, I love driving, but I don't love driving that much. You know, it's so I'm going to want something on the way home. I live here, by the way. You see my little house there. So I'm going to look at any one of these towns. You know, Leeds is here. So look at Doncaster and Sheffield. I may have had a little argument with someone at Sheffield. So Sheffield's off. Nottingham. Oh, hang on a second. What were we saying earlier on? Nottingham. It's Peggy Skylight, wasn't it? They're on a Friday. That's your first email. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look at Birmingham. Okay. Well, why not? Let's just go. So if I click off this, can you still see the map?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll share a different thing here. I'll go share screen, and we'll just go to this one. So what we're looking at, Jazz Birmingham. Sorry, Esther. On Friday. Okay. Oh, look, there's Birmingham Jazz. What's going on here? Check out our gigs on Fridays. Okay. Gigs. Boom. Why don't they use the names of the bloody like the days? I don't know what the, you know, the 11th of June is. What's that? Where's my calendar? I think I've got a diary here. I've got a good old-fashioned diary. I find these better actually, like when you're working quickly. You have to be messing around with screens. So where are we looking? 11th of June. Yeah, the 11th of June is a Friday. So this is, yeah, this is Fridays. Okay, so my gig in Leeds is on. I don't even have to make it up. I'm actually telling the truth. It's on the 21st. Okay, I'm just going to whiz down here. Oh, it's the 21st of October. All right. Great. This is as far down as they go. So there's every chance that they're going to have jazz on a Friday in Birmingham, and it's going to be on Friday, the 22nd of October. So, okay. How do I get in touch with these people? Okay, so I'm going up and down, down. How do I get in touch with you? It's a very good question, isn't it? Maybe I'm just being, join our mailing list. That wouldn't hurt. Have a look at the venues. Anyway, I will find them. Maybe I'm just being a bit rubbish at it. Yeah, whatever. I will find them somehow.
Sorry to interrupt, Nigel. It was right there in the middle of the screen.
Oh, was it really? You're kidding. Where?
Where it says "Welcome to Birmingham Jazz."
Oh, you're right. Do you know? It was. I was thinking it would be harder to find than that. But there you go. Bish bash bosh. Off we go. I won't actually send them an email, but we go. Ding 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 ding. Subject. What day was it? Okay. Keyboard shortcuts. NPOT. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. NPOT. And we've got Vas. You just put Vas and it goes Vasilissinopoulos, because I'm sick of spelling that, let me tell you. So obviously this is completely the wrong kind of, you know, year and everything. There we go. Bish bash bosh. In we go. Doof. Change this, change this, change this. We want, you know, whatever it is. What was it? October. Setting. Change the Ipswich Jazz Club to whatever venue it was. Yeah. Anyway, I won't go through the whole thing. But once you've changed all this, and then hopefully you find out the guy's name as well. And I just happen to know. I'll probably actually save this tomorrow. I mean, send it tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can see how potentially quickly that can work. So I'll stop sharing that now. So yeah, we've got Peggy's. We've got Peggy's, and then we've got. I've just got another email going into Birmingham, so that's 2 for the same night. And then whatever else. I mean, it's. I don't think it's worth waiting to find out, because firstly, they might never get back to you, and I'm not kidding. Apologies if for those who might have heard me say this last time, but there was one who was Plymouth Jazz Club, and I every time I had a tour, and I've toured the UK 10 times now, 10 big tours of the UK, and every time I was touring, I'd send Plymouth an email saying, oh, you know, same thing, all upbeat, and you know, we'd love to come down, and trying to fit it in with this sort of Cornwall run. And they're actually really good at the Cornish and the Devon venues. They all know which nights they all run on, so it's possible to do a kind of loop down there. But sometimes it doesn't work out, so sometimes I try Plymouth. And after 20 years of trying Plymouth without even a reply, I thought it's time to send you an email, the final email. So I said, hi, you know, when I first sent you an email, my son had just been born, and he's now just left university, and so I think it's. Should we just say that from now on, you know where I am, you know, you've got my number, and I know, and it would be a pleasure to you know, to come down and play for you, but I won't be getting in touch again. And I'm not kidding. I think it was the next day I got an email back and they gave me a gig, and so it took 20 years to get that one, and I went down there and it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, we had such a good night. It was amazing. So that's what I mean about patience, you know. So, and that's no, I wasn't talking about patience, was I? I was talking about not presuming that that you're going to get a gig somewhere, and also not actually presuming that they're even going to get back at all. So, and also it's easier to take a gig out than it is to put a gig in. And once if you're taking one out, of course, there's you know, once you've got that kind of contact that's been made, you can always move it as well. You know, once they've said yes, they're not going to suddenly say no unless you really upset them somehow. So, you know, just go for multiple venues, I would say, on the one night, and they're more likely to work out. So yeah, I feel we're coming up to 10 o'clock. I feel I should say something groundbreaking to kind of finish with. Good Lord, what was that noise?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it was me. I have a quick question, Nigel.
Go on.
Thank you, Nigel, by the way.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Sounds like he's beaming in from outer space.
He's on a Lancaster bomber, on a bombing run over northern France.
Yeah, just can you tell us how you're going to take it forward for the next session? Which I'm going to.
Yes.
Well, mute Sarah, because that may be.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. Yes. Well, I've been thinking about that, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to tell everyone what we're doing next time. I mean, bearing in mind that we will get onto the Arts Council forms, but I think it's too early for that, because because you'll only start to you'll only have a need for those forms if you've got enough gigs in anyway. But one kind of slowly bleeds into the next one, because it's you know, it's only when you've got a certain amount of gigs that you end up needing the funding, and then when you start to get that amount of gigs, then you have to start thinking more about where the gigs are. You know, that like, I mean, there's certain sort of requirements from from the forms, really. You know, there's certain rules that you have to fulfill. I mean, you know, you can't do a tour just in Surrey, for instance. I mean, there's got to be some kind of spread, you know. Oh yeah, that's you know, I haven't got an awful lot more to say about that, but there are some more specific rules. So I thought it would be a good idea to actually talk about logistics.
Yes, very much so.
And good planning, you know. I mean, sometimes I see bands touring and it's like, oh great, you know, it's great to see, you know, so and so out on tour. And then you look at the date sheet and it's like, Newcastle, yeah, that's a drive. Oh, St Ives the next night. Oh, okay. No. And then you sort of wonder why there's complete radio silence from the band when they're on tour, because they're all absolutely destroyed, you know, and just they're having a terrible time. And actually, I mean, the problems that I have when I'm out on tour is that we've got too much time, because the gig's only an hour and a half away, and you know, you get chucked out of the hotel at whatever, like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and you don't have to be at the next hotel till 5. It's like, what the hell are we going to do? You know, because I've organised it so well, and they're all in these lovely sort of loops. So you know, you can go to the pictures or go and dip your toes in the sea or something like that. But it's yeah. So it's I'm just being silly, really, but logistics. I mean, all sorts of there's an awful lot to cover there. You know, just about the fundamentals of moving around and hoteling and fuel and all that sort of thing, and just the sort of things that you have to sort of bear in mind as we slowly bleed into the Arts Council thing.
Yes, and there was another point that I thought you mentioned earlier, and perhaps we can cover this next time as well, was the fact that you said, oh, I booked the tour and then I go for the Arts Council funding afterwards. So there's kind of that requires quite a bit of faith on your part that you're going to get the funding, I guess, to encourage the musicians to give up gigs. But maybe we can talk about that.
What it's called is self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, you have to believe it's going to happen. You just got to believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, that was the very last, almost the last thing I was going to talk about. Not today, but I mean, actually, sort of tacked on to the end of the whole thing, which is going to be what happens when it all goes wrong.
Yes.
You know, when you experience failure, and you know, I just, some people look at my kind of you know, touring life, and they look at me and go, God, that guy's just so lucky. He's just so lucky. He just seems to get it. You know, it's just what's he doing? I mean, is he in the Masons? I mean, you know, what's going on here? But I tell you what, I have failed, and I have failed, and I have failed, and failed, and failed again, and I have wept salty tears where I've been absolutely destroyed from 18 months of organising a tour, and then you don't get it, and then you resubmit, and you don't get it, and you resubmit, and you don't get it, and then you run out of time, and you still haven't got it, and everything has been a complete waste of time. And I have wept. I've literally cried when that letter arrives. It used to arrive by the post, and you get it out, and you inch it up, and it says, "Dear Mr. Price, we are sorry to." Oh God, no! You know, everything's gone. Everything's gone. All those promises you made to all of those venues, all of the people in the band, everything is gone. And it's like you don't want to play music anymore. You know, absolutely. You know, you can't get on with your family, and it's absolutely, it's like bereavement. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's just awful. Yes. And that's happened to me again and again and again. And I used to take it really badly.
Don't want to wallow in your misery, but
well, no,
like
but
to hear more of it.
Well, but what I'm saying is that through that, it's I've kind of come through the other side, and sort of. I kind of just took it on the chin a few times, and just didn't really, and just tried to move on, you know. And there's other times where I've just refused to accept it, and I've gone on these tours anyway, and I've managed to raise money through other means, and I'd love to talk about that, but that's kind of a different thing. I mean, that's just being too pig-headed and tenacious to actually stop, and you know, it's like going into a different kind of zone. Because suddenly it's an emergency, you know, and people can see it's an emergency, and promoters can see it's an emergency, everybody, and it's like everyone's like, oh shit, you know, and suddenly everything changes. Like when you turn around to a venue and say, I'm sorry, we can't come, didn't get the money. and all of a sudden, the old magic money tree gets a little wobble. Well, no, I mean it's not quite like that, but sometimes they really do want you to come, and they'll go the extra mile, and all sorts of help comes in from all sorts of places that you just wouldn't believe. I mean, it's and there's some really fantastic people out there who really want to see us succeed and art succeed, and you can just find yourself interacting with great humans and humanity, in a way that you almost couldn't dream of, had you got the money. It's almost, I'm not saying I'd rather fail, but I've ended up meeting some incredible people through failure, and it's made me the person I am today. So anyway, I'd love to talk about that.
That gives us something very interesting to look forward to. So the next one is going to be on the 29th of June.
Oh, go on, sorry.
Mute Sarah again. She's I think the next one we're going to be looking forward to is the 29th of June. And it's the same deal. If you've already signed up to the Jazz Fix, you will automatically get the link to it. I hope everybody understood the links, but hopefully it'll be a bit clearer next time. I know there's a couple of people struggled, but now you've got the gist of it. That's how it happens. The link will come through. I suspect we'll probably use the very same link, so just hang on to that. And that brings us to, so we're going to do 4 of these altogether, Nige, yeah?
Yes.
And this is the last Tuesday in every month, so put that in your diaries. And really looking forward to the next session. And thank you everyone for coming along, and thank you particularly, Nigel. Don't forget that you can go onto the link that I put in the chat log right at the beginning. I'll put it in again, which is the link to donations, because nobody's on tour at the moment. And so it's basically it's Nige the Jazzer, isn't it? Nige the Jazzer.com.
Yeah. Can I just say, just before we finish, that if you do have any questions, rather than direct them to me privately, or unless it's something you really don't want to talk about, but if you've got something that you want to ask, that you don't mind being answered publicly, then maybe the Facebook group is quite a good place to do it. Yeah, because then everybody can get the benefit out of an answer. Okay.
Yes. Great. Well, it's been lovely. Thank you, everyone, for coming along tonight.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you all. You can all unmute if you want and make a noise. And thanks for being so well behaved.
Yeah, man.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Nigel.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
Nigel.
I wasn't really asking for a cheer, but yeah.
Thanks.
It's lovely to see you all. All right.